Is there one that you think comes to mind more than any other? So in the comments, let me know what you think a disco ball should be made out of when we talk about HTV. And for those that are new, HTV is heat transfer vinyl. So I told you the shirt that I have on, I did it in metallic puff. Let me know what you think that you would do yours with. So that way I'm seeing some. So Patrick is hot off and he says holographic, and we see glitter and we see metallic. So guess what? Those are the three things that I've done. So I have hit the top three right off the bat of what colors that you might think of. So when I talk about holographic, this is holographic vinyl. So that way you can really see what that looks like. And I have, because we love cutting and weeding on camera so much, said no one ever, I have already cut and weeded, and this is one single color. So I'm going to swap views. That way you can see my heat press, and we're going to do this together because nothing is more fun than getting to craft together. So I have my bag on my press, and what am I going to do? I'm going to do a quick press to start with, just to make sure that I've got that moisture out, that I am ready to roll. You can see earlier I had folded my design, and that way I kind of knew what my center point was on this. So right now I'm going to move just so it shows up a little better on camera. And I'm going to do this sideways. So now I have my design laid down. Move everything out of the way and lock her down. And I'm going to press for 10 seconds. And that way we will have this first one started. So I feel like one of the things that people struggle with so much when designing is thinking about colors and how to lay things out. So I am even going to give some examples to show you some different colors that we might could do this in. And so I am letting that cool just a smidge. So we talk about things being hot peel and cold peel. Holographic is a cold, so I want to let it cool down. But before I do it, I want you to see, what does it mean, hot or cold? So it's hot. I just took it off the press. And right now, when I try to lift it, you can see it's wanting to lift up with my vinyl. So that's one of the first things that let you know it's wanting to lift. Let's let it cool down before we go to do that carrier sheet removal. So I have a marble top, so I just rub against that. That's the first thing that helps carry your sheet off. So tell me, does that not look like a disco ball? I mean, that's just so perfect of a color. I absolutely love that holographic, and that is just a single color that I've cut. But what if you want to make it a little bit more, because we're always just that little bit extra. What if you want to make it two colors? So one of the things that's very easy to do in software, and I don't, I'm not going to say if you have Design Space or Silhouette Studio, any software, Leonardo, you can pull a design in and you have control over it. So this design that's in Leonardo, it was two colors. I can turn it to one color and then just cut a single, or I can cut it to be two colors or three colors or more. So a lot of times you do have control over how you do that SVG. So just because it comes in several colors, you're the boss and you can make it as many colors as you want it to be. So that way I'm going to talk about a two color design. So I have, again, with the magic, I've already cut and I've already weeded it. And so here is, again, that same holographic, but I'm only cutting part of the design. So I'm going to move over to my press. We're going to lay that down. Let me let you watch me. So let's move over for just a moment. So hopefully everybody has had a wonderful Monday today. You can see I have pressed, and now I'm just going to do this one. And I'm going to do that first layer, and I'll let that cool down. So we talked about if I go to peel it right now, it doesn't always want to stick. So I want to let that cool down just a little. And then I'm going to do that second color. And I have my second color as Aurora. And some designs we make them, it seems like it's a little bit harder, but there's so much that we can do to make it easy to line up. So here I have some blank spots that I know I just need to line these up a little bit. So I'm going to take my design and kind of, it's just like a little puzzle piece. And see how easy that just laid right in there? All because I gave myself some markers to know what do I want to go by. And I'm going to cover this with a nonstick cover sheet just so that doesn't stick. I love pink and silver, and I think that Aurora just gives such a beautiful sheen. So that way we can see that. I'm going to pull this off just to help that camera view. And I'm going to show you even another way. So here you can see it. To me, Aurora really has such a beautiful color shifting, especially when I put it next to that holographic. So this is the one that we just pressed, but I want you to see the other side that I had already done. I have my Disco Queen. And I love being able to show different ways to do a design because we all have different ideas and thoughts on it. So I'm going to change my heat press temperature because we're going to do something else in just a little while. So let me make a change on my heat press, and then I'll hold this up so that you can see it, so that we can talk about it and we can go through some of the steps again. So like I said, I'm going to change the temperature on my heat press because I'm going to show you something with sublimation also, because I'm a little bit extra. You have to have, you know, more than one way to impress all of you. So I've got my heat press turned up. I'm going to do 395, and I have 60 seconds on it. So while that one's heating up, then I will come back over to that. So how would you, so one of the questions Michael asked, how would you layer in a SVG to make it split for two colors? So when it was a single design, I'm going to hold it up just to use this as an example. I ungrouped it and released the path on there. And then I could go through and just group some random ones, group those together and turn it one color, and then select the others and group it. So for most all softwares, it's either release compound path or release path, or ungroup. Sometimes it could be that simple, so that you go from that single color design, and then you can just hold your shift key and select different pieces of it, group that together, and that becomes one color. So again, on this design here, I could group the pinks, that's one cut, and then group the silver, that's the second cut. So one of the things since I've talked about it, let's kind of do a little bit of a show and tell on some colors, because I had a bag, and this is a make market, so that way you can see. So here I did obviously another pink Aurora with holographic. This is 2 electric colors here. Here I have just a solid. And then here I did 2 colors of orange. So that way you can see just how it's the same design, right? You've seen it. It's the same disco ball. I'm just showing how you can cut it with different colors. So here, and I'll lay this down so that you can see it also. So these are 2 glow-in-the-dark colors. Would that not look so incredible to have it as glow-in-the-dark, and then when the lights go out, you would look like a little disco ball yourself. Here I have silvers and golds, and here I have, this is teal and silver metal. So that way you can kind of see how the same design looks different just by changing some of the colors. So I'm going to take and move to the other camera just so that I can show that off just a little bit better so that you can kind of see. So we have glow in the darks here. This is a silver here that is a pattern, and then with just gold, I have metal and EasyWeed. I have purples, and it really looks like it's 2 or 3 colors, but it's 2 colors only. It's just the way that light hits it. And to me, that's what really makes it fun for a disco ball, is because you can see how the colors really do change. So that way you can see how that makes a difference. And the orange, of course, I'm in Tennessee, so I have to represent a little bit of orange, even if it's not true UT orange. So that way you can kind of see how those colors make a difference. I'm going to look in the comments just to see, because I want to make sure that I'm answering questions. And I know that Patrick's helping me. And thank you so much always. And let's see, we have Patrick answered about what color. I appreciate that. I love the glow in the dark, and I think Aurora Ellie Mae is that perfect shimmer to go with that. And you know, I like it. So does anybody know where the disco ball is manufactured? This is some unknown knowledge that you didn't even know what you were going to get. In Louisville, Kentucky is where the first disco ball was manufactured and still manufactured today. So when you see disco balls, almost all of them were made in Louisville, Kentucky. So I find that interesting. So tell me, now that you've seen some of the different color combinations, what is your favorite color combination? And do you like it as a single color, or do you like it with 2 colors? That way we can talk about that.
Someone asked, Ellie Mae asked, what is your favorite, Stephanie?
So right now, I always have a new favorite, you know, as soon as we come out with something, but right now I actually love, love, love the metallic silver, and I love it especially for this design. And then Aurora is going to be my second favorite. So that way those are some ones that I love. And so some of you may, so people are saying multicolor, multicolor. Where can I find the disco ball? We have that in our software in Leonardo. You can download it for free and to get that. And maybe Patrick, we could post that in Siser North America group also. We'll see if we can do that. So I'm loving that y'all like the 2 colors too. I like the multicolor. So one of the next things that I really, really love to talk about, and you know, it's one of my passions, and it's one of the things that you can even see behind me is in the view, is an embroidery machine. So what would you do with an embroidery machine with a disco ball? Well, I am very, very fortunate that I have software that I can convert things from an SVG file to a stitchable file. So I told you we're going to talk about this potential for a file 3 different ways. So I've shown it with just HTV and we used a single color, and I've shown you with a 2-color design. So now let's talk about using it with embroidery. So you can tell I like my denim jackets. I feel like it's a way to really kind of express yourself. You can dress them up, you can dress them down, and I can show different techniques with it. So I have able for me to hold it up. Look how cute. It is a Disco Queen, and that is done in glitter HTV. So are you ready? So this is embroidery, and I'm going to lay this down so that you can see the view underneath the camera, and then we're going to talk about the ways to do that. And y'all are going to ask some questions, and we are going to have a great time. So here you can see that I have, thread is here. I have thread on the disco ball, and I have thread going around the edges. So that is how I was able to do that design. And then the material that I used here is glitter HTV. So let's talk about good glitter HTV. And we will show you, and we're going to talk about it so that you can see what I'm talking about. So to me, we have all different colors of glitter. I've chose to do another test stitch out in white so that you can see it. So one of the questions is, I think somebody asked about software. I have Cut and Stitch as one of my softwares. I have several. So, when you craft, you never have just one, right? We have several of those. And I love that we can kind of make things change from one to the other, and we are going to talk about. So glitter HTV is one of the products that you can embroider with. We have quite a few. You can embroider with strip flock, you can embroider with glitter, you can embroider with brick, you can embroider with Aurora, you can embroider with diamond dust. Any of the other ones you can embroider with. You're just going to have to put that on fabric first and then make it a fabric. So this is a piece, and you can see I left the sticker on. This is glitter rainbow white. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this carrier sheet off. So this is a way, just here. We're going to take this carrier sheet off. Some of you know that I'm messy, and a lot of times it's looking like I'm going to throw something in a trash can on camera. I may, or it may go on the floor to stick to my foot. So then here is, it's now fabric. So let me know in the comments how many of you embroider so that I know who I'm kind of talking to. I know a few names that I've seen, but it's fabric, and it's a beautiful shiny fabric. So if you went to the fabric store, would you be able to find this? You're never going to find something that this shiny, this texture, everything about it just really rocks. And I love being able to transform it. So when you are embroidering, typically we would have that first, what's it called? That placement stitch. And so when it did the placement stitch, you would lay your fabric down, which for us, it's glitter HTV tonight. And then it will do that tack down. If I was using regular fabric after that tack down stitch, I would have to sit there with my scissors and cut it close to the edge and then let it do that finishing cover stitch. So I love that we don't have to do some of those steps when you're using a lot of these projects. So I love that I can take this glitter and stitch with it. So you can see that I have stitched this design right here. And I'm going to, again, I'm going to move the camera just so you can see how easy it is. Let me move my cute little jacket. And I'm going to answer one. PES requires being digitized in embroidery software. I don't know if any convert SVGs. So I use a software that can take my SVG and turns it into an applique file. And I can turn it into any extension. I can turn it into a DST, a PES, you know, a VP3, whichever software that you have, whichever embroidery machine language that you use. So now you can see, so this was my glitter. And before I would have had to cut it and then let it do that finishing stitch. So I left this just so you can see, this is how easy it is to rip. And then I had that one little piece stick because I'm on camera. So now you can see how fast was that. So that is a way that really can save time and money because you're not having to stop and cut that. So I love anything that saves me time, and I love anything that will save me money. So to me, this is just an easy way to have just that gorgeous fabric, and see how that really just shimmers and catches the light. And earlier, I'll show you the jacket again so that you can see it. And it's, so you can really see how it catches that. Now, one of the questions that I'm going to kind of go back and forth on my camera real quick so that I can tell you, say this. Sometimes I will say to really pay attention, look me deep in the eye as I tell you this. One of the questions frequently, if it's going to rip away on the outside, will it rip from the inside? And yes, it can. Well, on this particular design, you can see I have all kinds of stitches holding that design in place. So it's not going to come loose, and it's not going to wiggle or anything, but I still am always going to heat press it. So for me, I never heat press from the front of my design, because I don't want that high heat on my satin stitches. So we're going to show, and I'm going to talk about, that's why I said we're going to go back and forth on this, and that way you can see. I'm not going to do this because I don't want that heat on top of my thread. So I'm always going to flip it, and I'm going to press from the back of my design, and that way that sets that in. So now that is set from the back, and it's set in on the front. So let's see. I see questions. Now, Patrick, out of curiosity, could I sublimate the glitter after the stitching is done, or will the stitching not hold up as well? There's a couple things that you can do, and we're going to talk about one of them, and then we're going to talk about another. So for those of you, and this wasn't even part of my 3 ways. So now Patrick and I have added 4. And when you put Patrick and I together, you never know what could happen. So one of the things that you could do is you could sublimate after, because what is 90% of the thread that embroiderers embroider with is polyester, 100% polyester. So I could sublimate straight to that and embroider with it, and it would, after I've embroidered, and it would stick to the thread and it would stick to the glitter. So yes, there is a way. Or I could sublimate the glitter before I go to embroider with it, and then I wouldn't have to worry about lining it up. Or I could just stitch all in white and put the design on there. So many things that we can do with not only our embroidery machines, not only with our cutter, but I'm showing you all these different uses that you can do with that HTV vinyl that you have. So some of the questions, what embroidery software do you suggest? I Josephine, I would even tell you to reach out to me out, and because there's a lot of different ones. And Brilliance is a beautiful software to get started with, just because out of the box, it's a very good price point to be able to start using it. Another would be Anything by Dime, and that's Designs and Machine Embroidery, because you can buy different modules depending on what you need to do. Cut and Stitch is a software that was created kind of as a marriage between Siser product and Dime products. And they created a software to take that cut file to an embroidery file. So those are all different kinds of information that's out there for embroidery. But I love being able to use all these things because we love our cutters and we love being able to use different types of material. And you can see on our website, there's a lot of different information about what materials you can use to be able to embroider with. So how many of you love this technique, and how would you use it? So tell me in the comments, let me know, and how would you use this? So some I know do, because some of you I know, and it's exciting to get to see you and to kind of talk about some of these things. So Patrick, you have to let me know if you have, thank you for that. That's what one of the things I was going to say. You're going to have to let me know if you fired up the embroidery machine and you've been using yours lately. Because, we have so many things that we get to create with. So, again, we've talked about, so for those that some people had said they came in late, we have a moment. We have a few moments. Let's kind of bring everybody back up to speed, because I want this to be fresh in your mind, because I want to know what your favorite was when we get done tonight. So so far we have the choice of a single color, and then we have the choice of a two color. So there's single on one side and two color on the other. We have the choice of embroidery with glitter. And Gillian said, if you're using embroidery thread, if you were using if you were using polyester fabric, yes, it would also transfer to that. So thank you for clarifying that. So how many, is this little jacket, y'all know I love my jackets. And I've started blinging up the front, and we've started adding some rhinestone designs and things to it. So that way I'll keep working on this, and I'll post it as I work on this work of art. So one of the things that we just talked about was that polyester fabric. So what are some things that, we don't always have, polyester fabric? Right now I have on a black t-shirt, and black t-shirts are one of my kind of favorite things to be able to stitch on and to create with. I love doing those. So let's see if I have room. I'm going to try to see if I have room. So remember this that I used earlier. This is, let me look and see. Trying to see what my fabric. Okay, talks amongst yourself. I'm going to go out of frame to get a t-shirt. Okay, sorry about that. My t-shirt wasn't in range. So I have a black t-shirt, and that is what we're going to work on next. So the first thing that I'm doing, I didn't do this ahead of time. I'm going to fold my black t-shirt. I'm going to give it just a quick press. Why am I going to give it that quick press? Because I like to have that center point. So that way you can see, I get that line down it. But I'm going to change cameras because I'm going to let y'all join me on pressing this because I want you in on the fun also. So I have black cotton tee available at Michael's. And let's change the view so that I can show you what is next. And I feel like I'm missing out. I'm seeing all these comments. I can't keep up right now. I'm thankful for Patrick for keeping me up. So here I have my design. I'm folding it in half. I like to fold the design in half. That way I can kind of match it together. Typically I go several fingers down, but I'm going to leave this one kind of higher up just so this design fits kind of neat. So I just went 2 fingers from my neckline. And right now, this is white. It's rainbow white glitter HTV. And I'm just going to tack this down for like 2 seconds. Just enough. And I'm going to take that carrier off. So now you can see that I have glitter and I have a black cotton t-shirt. So are you ready to see what I'm going to do? Any guesses? So we have talked about the different ways. So we've used HTV and we have used it with embroidery, and Patrick even kind of alluded to it. Sublimation. So this is a design that I hit print and had it print out, and it's a very cool, it's a rainbow ombre, and you can see in it that it's got a lot of white sparkle to give it that glitter effect. So I love showing the different things that we can do. So you can see that I have this in here and I have done the glitter. So we have glitter that is a very high polyester content of that. So a lot of our products you can sublimate on, and Patrick may be throwing that in the link, but you can sublimate on glitters, you can sublimate on holographic pearls, you can sublimate on clear sparkle, you can sublimate on Starling PSV, you can sublimate on glow in the dark. Easy Subli is another one. So those products you can sublimate on. So I don't, I love this to show. So I'm going to just cover that rainbow effect here. So we'll change views so that you can watch me do it because I want you to be able to see as I'm doing it also. So you can see here is my sublimation print. I have just lined it up over that design, and I can move it if I want a little more green or a little more purple. And then I'm always going to use a paper over it, like a blowout paper, so that that ink does not get up on my heat press. So I'm covering that. And earlier I told you that I was changing my time and temp. So I changed that time and temp to 395, and I'm doing it for 60 seconds. And Siser also has an ink for sawgrass. It's Easy Subli ink, and that is another thing that you can use with sublimation. So that way you really can see how so many of our products are versatile to be able to be used in so many ways. And I love just taking glitter, and I'm going to use a little piece of it in a minute just to show you as a bonus because it's sitting here. That's how we do things, right? And I'll show you what we can use with those also. So Patrick is on it. He is working it. It's so nice to, it takes a team. What do they say? It takes a village. And this is the way that village works. So I have popped that open. I'm not going to do anything because I want you to see as I do it. So here you go. Paper is coming off. Thrown to the floor. Design is coming off. So around this, there would be some ink, correct, but it's not going to matter because it will wash away. So now you can see it and see why I keep something underneath, because that ink could have gone through, gotten on the bottom of my press, and then it would have been really dirty. So let's change so that you can see it this way. And you can see how it picked up those ombres and that glitter. And I'm going to change views and we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to go back to the camera view. So what do you think? Is that not gorgeous? So that way you can see how you got to see it firsthand. It was white rainbow glitter, sublimation ink. And now this is so easy. And again, I'm going to be able to wash it and that ink will disappear. So Patrick and I were talking about embroidery. And again, I didn't even have this planned, but I want to show you how you could take glitter and create custom fabric. So this is a piece. Let me grab some scissors. So this was earlier when I ripped away from that applique design. I just ripped this piece of scrap away. I'm going to use it so that you can kind of see how I could create my own custom. So I have to get a couple things here, and I absolutely love doing this part. So this is a non-stick cover sheet. So this is very important. So I have my non-stick cover sheet. This is that scrap piece of vinyl that you saw me with earlier when I was ripping stuff away. So you can see there was a piece. And this is that leftover. And I'm just going to press this just to give you the effect. It's not going to be quite as bright, but it's what I have here. And it will work for now. So again, I'm at $3.95 and I'm going to press that for 60 seconds. So that way you get this is a bonus. So how many washes will sublimation ink last? It'll last the lifetime of your garment, just about. So sublimation goes into those fibers of polyester. And so it's not laying on top of the fabric, it's inside that polyester. So the same thing with this glitter. It is actually embedded into that glitter. So it's not going to go away quickly. It will last. Like I said, for me, my shirt's going to wear out, or I'm going to outgrow it in some way before I am the ink's going to really fade or it disappears. And so Lettuce said loves sublimating on glitter. I love sublimating on glitter. Thank you, Ellie Mae. I love this jacket. It's got little pieces of my personality all over it. And let's change so that you can see. And again, it's not quite as bright. So here's that paper. Here is that sublimation. And there is my vinyl. So right now, this is hot. And if I try to get this up, it's really thin from where it's been. So I need to let this cool down. So you can see that's that nonstick cover sheet. And I have this nonstick that I only use for this technique. So we're going to talk about the whys of that. So I'm going to pull this off and I'm letting it cool off. And you can see where the design was faded earlier from that other. That's just because that's what I had to reuse real quick to show you this bonus. So I'm cooling this off. And as it cools off, my glitter gets firmer again. So see, look, I'm just going to peel this off. And guess what? This is now glitter fabric designed that I could embroider with. So I just made, how long did that take us? Well, we knew it takes 60 seconds for it to press and 15 seconds to cool off. So that way we can create custom fabrics that no one else will have. You can create your own designs, your own images, and these are ways, that's why we love being able to decorate garments and to decorate and to really give our personalities, because you can create something that no one else can create. And the reason it has to be on this a non-stick, that way when you pull this off, it doesn't stick. If I had done it to this piece of paper, it would have stuck forever, because what is on the back side of our glitter HTV? Adhesive, because that's how it adheres to our garments. So be sure when you're doing this that you use a non-stick cover sheet. And do you see how this one is cut? That's how I know not to use this with any other project, is because I'm only going to use this technique. Can you see how there's different colors of inks that are on here? I don't want those inks to accidentally get onto something else. So I only use this one for this particular project, things that I do. Usually the word sub is written in a marker on it, but it's faded. So no, do not use parchment because it will adhere to it, because again, this is adhesive on the back side of that. So it will adhere to that parchment forever and a day. So you want to use that non-stick. And so I can't believe how fast we've gone through all of this tonight. And I can't believe that we even got to throw in an extra project. So tell me, what was your favorite? And if it was more than one, you can choose more than one. But did you learn something new? And were you surprised that you could use one design in so many different ways? Because that's really what I'm hoping, is that I was able to show you a couple different ways to use a design that you already have. And that way you can show it off in different colors and in different ways. And Amy says, so, love them all. And Ellie said, so creative. Thank you, Ellie. So appreciative, Ellie Mae. And hopefully the you will be able to rewatch this on their YouTube when they get it uploaded there. And let's see. So Darlene says, is there a video tutorial where you can grasp everything I need to be able to do to buy Sublimation? Yes and no. So we do talk about a lot, and there's even on Michael's, they have had some information. I would start with just really learning about the different types of printer and deciding what is in your budget, and start with the printer and then kind of learn the other pieces as you go. Don't try to learn everything tonight, because it can be just a little bit overwhelming. But we're here to help at any time. So feel free to reach out and ask us. Thank you so much for the kind compliments. And Patrick, I'm sure things have been flying by. I know that he probably posted some links to show you some things on different tutorials that we have. And I appreciate everybody being here, because we love our partnership. We love that you have a place to go, and we love being able to present. And we appreciate Michael so much for letting us to present a class, because it's another way for us to get information out to our viewers and to people that may not know a lot about us. So Patrick does a class and I do a class, and we kind of alternate. So please stay tuned, because you never know what's going to be next. Also, always go back to Michael's YouTube channel so that you can see all the great classes that they offer. And hopefully you loved being able to, here, let's see. You loved being able to do 2 designs. You loved being able to sublimate on a design, and hopefully you really enjoyed that you got to embroider on a design. And I am so appreciative that you were here to watch, and I thank each and every one of you for taking the time to join us this evening. And a big, big thanks. Everybody say thanks to Patrick for helping me out in the comments. Everybody, I hope you have a great night, and I can't wait to see you the next time. Bye, gang.